Hi, I'm Lou Milioni with the Drug Enforcement Administration. Clandestinely produced fentanyl and fentanyl analogs are responsible for an epidemic of overdose deaths here in the United States. I'm not talking about pharmaceutical fentanyl, which is also a powerful, dangerous, and highly addictive Schedule II narcotic. But when it is prescribed by a practitioner for a legitimate medical purpose, it can assist patients in need. Clandestinely produced fentanyl and fentanyl analogs are a whole nother story. They pose a unique threat to the general public and our brothers and sisters in law enforcement. This video will share with you how DEA is responding to this growing threat.
Fentanyl is a potent synthetic opioid commonly prescribed for pain relief. In its legally prescribed form, fentanyl is generally in a patch or lollipop. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, fentanyl is approximately 50 times more potent than heroin and 100 times more potent than morphine. In its illicit form, fentanyl is generally a white powder that can be used orally, smoked, snorted, or injected. Because it is cheap, incredibly potent, and easily obtained from countries like China, drug cartels are increasingly mixing fentanyl with heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, and even spice. It is also increasingly being found in counterfeit prescription pills. As a result, the U.S. has witnessed a dramatic increase in seizures of fentanyl, its analogs, and other synthetic opioids. In 2012, forensic laboratories in the United States analyzed approximately 650 drug exhibits containing fentanyl. In 2015, they analyzed over 12,870. This is a 1,880% increase. It is imperative that law enforcement take the necessary precautions when handling any substance, especially when conducting a field or presumptive test, as there is no certainty of what that substance actually is until it is analyzed by a forensic laboratory. Canine units are particularly at risk of immediate death from inhaling fentanyl during their work. Illicit fentanyl is a light powder that can easily go airborne, and it can be lethal at very low levels of exposure. Just 2 milligrams could lead to death. For comparison, a packet of sugar weighs between 2,000 and 4,000 milligrams. Adverse health effects, such as disorientation, coughing, sedation, respiratory distress, or cardiac arrest, are very rapid and profound, usually occurring within minutes of exposure to fentanyl. A police officer in Virginia required medical assistance after making an undercover purchase of suspected heroin and touching the wrapping. The exhibit turned out to be pure fentanyl. An officer in Florida required medical attention after field testing an exhibit laced with fentanyl that was seized at a search warrant. 2 officers in New Jersey required immediate medical attention after attempting to seal an evidence bag. One of the officers attempted to force air out of the evidence bag in order to get a good seal and accidentally aerosolized a small amount of fentanyl powder. They experienced dizziness, shortness of breath, and respiratory problems. Immediate medical treatment saved their lives. If fentanyl is located in small amounts and can easily be contained or sealed, DEA requires its personnel, at a minimum, to utilize a chemical-resistant suit, respirator, nitrile gloves, and eye protection while handling. A Level A protective suit should be utilized in areas with gross contamination. Individuals require advanced Level A training to properly utilize this equipment. If an exhibit is believed to contain fentanyl, DEA instructs its personnel not to field test the exhibit and to immediately send it to forensic laboratory for analysis. Due to the increase in availability of fentanyl and the fact that it is being increasingly found in other drugs such as heroin, extreme caution should be exercised when even considering field testing any exhibit. While handling potentially unknown substances, someone with Narcan, also referred to as naloxone, administration training should be on site. Narcan, an overdose reversing drug, is an antidote for opioid overdose. Immediately administering Narcan can reverse an accidental overdose of fentanyl. Continue to administer multiple doses of Narcan until the exposed person or overdose victim responds favorably. If you experience any health problems while or after handling suspected fentanyl or unknown substances, immediately seek emergency medical attention.
Clandestinely produced fentanyl and fentanyl analogs are a rapidly growing and evolving threat for the general public and the entire law enforcement community. The likelihood you will encounter these deadly drugs is growing at an alarming rate. Please take the time to plan in advance and identify the protective measures you will use when you come across these substances. Reach out to your local DEA office if you have any questions at any time. Thanks for your time and attention, and please stay safe.